walk with me. So I wanted to share a little bit more of my testimony before the Bible study starts on Sunday night. I wanted to share with you how God introduced this whole war room concept. It was a desperate season in my life, and if you're in a desperate season in your life and you're just trying to figure out how to walk with the Lord, I want to encourage you to keep listening. So in 2013, I gave my heart to the Lord. I was hopelessly addicted to pain pills. About 6 months after I gave my heart to the Lord, my husband helped me walk through a detox. God sends angels to earth, but sometimes they're already wrapped in flesh, and He just puts it on their heart to walk you through the things. And I wanted to be free, but in that season, I wanted not to feel what I was going through, the detox. So God sent my husband to be a guard for me. He was my husband at the time, but he became my husband shortly after. Anywho, so went through detox and got clean and got pregnant with my daughter and had her in November of 2014. And then so after that, I had two surgeries, and I had them at one time. So I had two different doctors write me prescriptions, which I knew better, but I guess I justified it by saying that I was having surgery, so it was okay. And I didn't guard myself, and so I ended up right back in the same pit. I was free, but I forgot I was free. And so by the time I realized, hey, I don't want to live this life again, I was fearful about detox. So the enemy kept me bound with a lie. He got me trapped again by a lie, and he kept me there for a season by a lie. Now, when I was in 2015 is when I had surgery. So it wasn't long after that, and I was back to depending on pain pills pretty often. Maybe not daily, but pretty often. And so often enough that I was worried about detox, right? Anywho, so in that season when I was desperate and broken, I watched the War Room movie, and I was like, this could be something that I could do. Like I could make a war room. Like her whole life changed, but this is just a movie, so it was just a thought that I caught and I moved forward, right? Fast forward, and I was still acting like a fool, but I was growing weary in acting like a fool, and so I just kept praying. I might not have been the perfect Christian going to church all the time. I was not, but I always worshipped and I always prayed. Not like I do now, but I never forgot what God had done for me. I just forgot that I was free, So God never let me go. He let me wander. He didn't let me go. He walked with me. So fast forward, there was this girl that lived down the street, and when I was younger, I used to ride the bus with her, and she was on Facebook all the time testifying of God's goodness. And on my birthday of 2016, she had a four-wheeler accident, and she left behind two sons, and it broke my heart. It crushed me. It didn't make no sense because I wasn't super close with her, but it literally crushed my heart. I was broken for her sons. I was broken because I was like why? She was doing everything right in my mind. She had a relationship with the Lord that I craved, I longed for, but did not know how to possess. But anyway, so it broke my heart, and as I was trying to figure out, like, God, why would this happen today? Why would this happen to her? Why didn't this happen to me? I deserve it. She didn't. I just didn't understand. And God said, basically He put on my heart, her sons will know that she's with me, and they'll know that she was walking with me. But your children, if you keep on the path you're on, they're going to know that you chased death. Like you willingly took yourself out. And so I knew that pain because I watched my mother take her own life through an overdose. Like, I don't think she intended to, but nevertheless, her choices took her life. She chose to chase death instead of grab a hold to life. So from that moment on, I wanted to grab a hold to the life that was offered to me. And I begged the Lord, help me, help me, help me. And so He did. He gave me the courage to share with my husband that I was struggling again. And my husband vowed to stay with me and help me and never leave me and never let me fight the battle alone, because he knew that I would always fight it. I'm so blessed by that man. So blessed by him. Anyways, shortly after that, I started church hopping all over town. I was going everywhere, right? I was going to all the churches, which is so funny because in this season, God has sent me back to all the churches that I went to in that season. And He spoke different things to me and encouraged me in different ways and reminded me of different things. But anyways, so God used this tragic event in somebody else's life to shake me awake and help me to choose life right. And when He did that, He reminded me about the war room. And so little by little, it took me a long time because I'm slow about everything. Ask anybody in my world. But little by little, I cleaned out my closet and I built myself a little tiny spot in the closet. And I would sit in there and I would pray and I would worship and I would write and I would pray and I would worship and I would write. I would wake up early and go in there and I would pray and I would worship and I would write. And so eventually, I learned how to walk with the Lord. I learned how to connect with the Lord. I learned how to hear His voice. And I learned how to be encouraged when everything around me was discouraging and I wanted to escape. I learned how to process my feelings at His feet in that tiny little, messy little closet. But the concept of the war room, finding a secret place to go along with the Lord and conversate with Him and learn from Him and listen to Him and sing to Him and just dedicated, devoted, intentional time with Him took me from that girl who thought she needed something to escape to. I still have those struggles sometimes. I do. If I'm honest, it manifests itself in different ways now. But I know where to find peace. I know where to find Jesus. I know how to walk with Him the way that friend did. And I know when I get to heaven, I'm going to have a conversation with her and hug her neck so tight. Because I don't know that I would be on the Facebook telling y'all my business all the time and trying to spread the goodness of God if it wasn't for her example and the impact that she made on me. But more than anything, I want you to know that that silly little movie that seemed like I was watching it in desperation because I was back in a pit I didn't want to be in. God used it as a seed, and it eventually He watered it and watered it until I came to the place where I felt like I was buried, and where I felt like I was broken and buried. And He began to teach me to grow roots in Him deep through using the concepts I found in that, and writing some words on the wall and crying out to Him and just sitting there and just singing to Him. And it seems like insignificant, but those little moments added up. I mean, and I was ridiculous. I was getting high and going in the closet and worshiping the Lord. But God radically transformed my life despite that. Like He made me new and He gave me courage and confidence to be the person that I get to be now. I get to work with kids now. I get to encourage adults now. I get to be a light that shines in the darkness. Do I do it perfectly all the time? Heck no. I'm a whole hot mess and a half. But you'd be hard pressed not to find someone that I haven't tried to encourage in my sphere of influence, because God has gifted me in that way to be an encourager. So even if it's just you're doing a great job or you look beautiful, or I try to impact the world for good because God put it on my heart to do so, and it feeds my soul and my spirit. But I wouldn't have learned those things about myself or about the Spirit of God within me and how He works and how He brings me joy had I not learned to sit at His feet in the war room. So I pray you all join me Sunday. I pray you don't have to be like me and have some tragic event snatch you back into reality. But every time in my life where I felt like I could not get it together, I asked the Lord to do something dramatic. And, that's not always a wise prayer to pray, but every time He's shown up for me. And whatever dramatic thing He's brought me through, there's been pain, there's been tears, and there's been uncertainty, but there's been progression and beautiful promises revealed to me through sitting at His feet in the secret place, intentional. And now I can't get up and start my day without time with Him. Not perfect time, but time with Him. You don't have to have this big old ritual, but you do have to sit at his feet and allow him to minister to you. And I believe this study can help us learn how to be intentional about that. Have a great day, and see you Sunday.